So welcome to the second episode. This is the emergency pod of the Lakers Nation PH podcast. Again, I'm Bert, the founding member of Lakers Nation PH. I'm joined by Andrea Hu from Thailand. So representing Lakers Nation PH
Lakers
Thailand.
Nation, PH Thailand.
Thailand. Also here is Kenan, ex Kenan X on Twitter. Representing Lakers Nation PH in Iloilo. And
Sir.
and one of our OGs members, Finney man, all the way from Cubao or Marikina.
Hello.
Yeah, Cubao.
Oh.
So we did this emergency pod to talk about the big news. Well, in the NBA today, according to Woj and Shams, Dennis Schroeder, former Oklahoma City Thunder point guard / shooting guard and Atlanta Hawks, and formerly of the Atlanta Hawks, was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, or there's an agreement in principle, and in exchange for Danny Green and the 28th pick in this year's NBA draft. So we're here to talk about the impact of this trade and what probably will be the Lakers' strategy going forward after this trade. So first off, Andrea,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts about the trade? Were you happy? Were you confused, mad, or just tell us your thoughts?
Okay, so it actually because yesterday we recorded an episode, right? And then we were discussing if we were going to draft, or if we were going to pick the draft for the 28th pick, what kind of player do we want to pick? And then we were saying that we wanted someone with shooting, with perimeter shooting, someone who can bring in 3-point shooting, and then we were also saying that at least someone who can be a backup playmaker in case Rondo leaves, which most likely now he's going to leave right now, just to back up Caruso as well. And I think Dennis, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Schroeder, ticks all the
Schroeder.
boxes. Schroeder. Yeah, so he ticks all the boxes of that. So I like this trade. Plus, I think if we trade the 28th pick, it would take long before naman mag-mature yung 28th pick na magagamit talaga and for him to be productive in the NBA. So I like this pick. With Danny Green, though, the concern for me is we lose someone who's really defending our wings. So I think pag playoffs, though, that's not such a loss because we have LeBron, we have Kuzma. But as we saw in the playoffs, medyo inconsistency si Kuzma. We still cannot rely on him that much. So that's a concern in that sense. But I think with the players that we have, or if we get also another wing, or if we get Gallo, then that should solve it. The other concern that I kind of have here, although not as very minor concern naman, I feel like Danny Green is part of the core group really of the Lakers. The chemistry wise, I think he brings in a lot to the team. So with that, I think Jared Dudley, parang there is now. We were discussing also last episode that we need to have him back because he's a glue guy. With the loss of Danny Green, I think that becomes more urgent. So those are my thoughts here. But overall, despite that we are losing one of our best wing defenders, I think overall I really like this trade because we lose someone who's a little bit older, Danny Green, who's we can say past his prime already, and then we're also losing someone who is just a potential with the 28th pick. So overall, I think this is a trade that I am excited about.
Okay. So saying Kuzma was medyo inconsistent is quite an understatement. But
Exactly.
um,
But he
um,
tries, but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
Kuzma has improved a lot. But you still see he's super late in the rotations. So that's something we have to be aware of come playoffs na.
yeah. So what Andrea was referring to was an episode we recorded um yesterday, but that
Mm.
unfortunately that part was not recorded due
Ay, oo
to
nga pala, sorry.
technical glitches or difficulties. It's stored somewhere in the dark world wide web. So, um, but we will touch on some of those topics that we were talking about in that deleted part of the pod. So, how about you, Kenan? What did you think about the trade?
I did mention in the previous pod, I'm not sure if it's part of the deleted audio or if it was included, but I did say that the Lakers, or at least in my opinion, need another gunner off the bench. A playmaker and a scorer who can take the load off LeBron and AD when they're on the bench. And I think Schroeder fits that description. Obviously, he averaged like I don't know, I'm not sure of the numbers, but around 18 something. Around
We
18
have
something.
we have the numbers right here.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Somewhere around 18.
18.9 points per game last year,
Yeah.
4.0 assists, 46, 38.5, 84 splits, and he was second
Yeah.
to Montrezl Harrell
Yeah. Second in
in
69
six
points.
man of the year award voting.
Yeah. So I
He's second? He was second? Ah.
Yeah,
yeah.
he was
So
second to Harrell.
obviously that's a big help for the Lakers, especially if you can recall during the regular season last year, whenever LeBron and AD were both on the bench, the Lakers couldn't find score much scoring unless like Goose is hot or something. So Schroeder fills that hole, I think. But I'm a little concerned when it comes to defense. He's not exactly known as a good defender. Not exactly Alex Caruso levels on defense, which is a bit concerning. But overall, I think I like this trade, especially with Danny Green. He admitted a few days after the finals that he has an injury or something. Maybe the Lakers know something we don't regarding that injury.
Yep. Also, maybe um, Danny Green wanted also to be traded or something because he was really abused by social media,
Yeah,
especially during the finals and after Game Five, after missing that wide open three.
he
It
got
would have won us the
threats.
title. They had
Yeah,
death threats.
Death threats, right? For
Even
his
his
fiance as
fiance
well.
received all death threats. It was awful. So maybe we're doing him a favor by trading him to OKC, which maybe he will accept a buyout and join a contender later in the season.
yeah,
Hopefully, not against a Western Conference contender, and he'll suddenly hit 8 threes against the Lakers. So, so, so if this trade pushes through, probably this will push through, right?
yeah.
Tomorrow,
Signs point to it pushing through.
I think it's 12 noon
Yeah,
Eastern
12 noon
time,
on Monday.
so around 1 a.m. in the Philippines.
Yeah,
So, thank you, Danny Green, for the one season. It was all worth it.
yeah,
Uh, we will. I agree. We will miss his defense. Probably our best wing defender last season. Aside from AD can defend anybody.
yeah,
So aside from AD, but there are rumors that Wes Matthews,
hmm
right,
yeah.
might replace him.
Yeah.
So I think Matthews just opted out of his contract with the Bucks.
Yeah.
So let's go to Wes Matthews a little bit. Would you be okay, Andrea, if we signed Wes Matthews? It's probably the minimum for the minimum. So
Yes, yes, yes. I'm all for this signing of Wes Matthews. I think once we finalize Dennis Schroeder, it was pretty obvious that then the next move will be to sign someone in the position of Wes Matthews. So I'm all for this. And then the next one, probably with Wes Matthews signing, then we need to sign Ibaka, and I think we're quite good already if we could sign both.
Okay. So Kenan, Wes Matthews.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with Wes Matthews. He's not an expensive replacement for our wing defenders who we're probably gonna
Exactly.
lose in free agency. Yeah, I like this signing if it does happen. Apparently, his dad played for the Lakers in the late 1980s. His father won two championships with the Lakers
Wow.
Oh,
in 87, 88, something like that. And I think it would be a cool storyline if ever that pushes through.
he is 34 years old. Played 67 games last year. Averaged 7.4 points on four 39% shooting from the field, 36 from three, and 76% from the line. So I don't think he's a substantial upgrade to Danny Green, but considering that he's going to sign for the minimum,
Yeah, I think
I think I think it's a good signing.
Mm.
Um, so let's talk about uh, how this signing affects the future of some of our free agents, most notably Rajon Rondo.
I
So Andrea, Rajon Rondo, this is the end
I
of his
think
Lakers stint.
yeah, I think it's time we say thank you and goodbye to Rondo. It was a good playoffs run for Rajon Rondo, but I think with this signing, I guess the management knows that he's not gonna resign in with the Lakers already. And I think that's okay because we get someone upgraded. Because although Rondo's playoffs run was really good, or at least in the games that mattered, he was really good. We have to go back to the regular season that he was also inconsistent in a lot of games there. So having move it, and then there was this whole clamor also in social media to have Caruso start instead of Rondo, but Vogel stuck to his guns, right? So I think with this signing, it's basically Rondo is gone. Caruso will probably move into the starting five during regular season, and then we have then a backup point guard, a backup playmaker, which I think is an upgrade because if we look at it. If we look at how we were playing in the playoffs, the second playmaker really for us is LeBron James. So I think to rest LeBron, it's going to be a 72 game season. I think Rajon Rondo is gone, but we have someone who can replace him.
So Ken, are you going to miss playoff Rondo, regular season Rondo?
uh,
Yeah, it was quite a roller coaster ride with Rondo, right?
if people follow me on Twitter, they'd know how I feel about Rajon Rondo. I kept saying, even in the previous seasons, that we should launch him to the moon. So yeah, I'm not gonna miss him that much. He was valuable in the playoffs, but he's not exactly irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Mm, exactly.
I think that's the main point here is that not a lot of players are exactly irreplaceable. So missing players because of free agency isn't a big deal for me.
Except if your name is LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Those are
So
those are no.
I also think we can replace Rondo. Yeah, and just like Danny Green, I think we are actually doing him a favor because his salary last year was like around 2.7 million.
Yeah, that was a
So
sacrifice on his part.
yeah, considering his performance in the playoffs,
Hmm.
Mm,
he won us like 5 of those games by himself by just being on the court,
mm.
doing the intangibles. Then there's this game 6 where he started 9 out of 9. So if he gets I think he'll get a 2 or 3 year contract which around 8 or 9 million. I think he will go to the Atlanta Hawks or something
What if he goes
because
to the Clippers? There is talk at the
I,
social media that he will go to the
Clippers
Clippers.
are interested in him.
well, I wouldn't be exactly mad if he went
Mm.
to the Clippers because
He's probably
well,
gonna fight Paul George.
I don't think even playoff Rondo can say Paul George. I just joking. Playoff P. Enjoy your PS5. Um, Also, I would just like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver. So don't let this Jen Schroeder trade distract you from that fact. So how about Quinn Cook? Well, he's still under contract, so maybe he will be our package for a second round pick because as I googled here, we don't have any second round picks this year. It's going to Philadelphia.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what I
I
don't know what
heard
trade
that yesterday.
it is. So we have no picks in the upcoming Thursday draft.
Yeah, but I won't be surprised if the Lakers bought a second round pick.
Yeah,
They did that with Clarkson and Svi, I think.
it's funny we can buy picks, right?
Yes.
We can buy picks. So yeah, it would not surprise me if we bought second round pick again. So how does this move affect um, Kyle Kuzma? Think he will be traded or this essentially ends any trade speculation about him? At least this offseason.
I'm actually not sure about this. Still with Kyle Kuzma, I still think we're still gonna trade him closer to the. I'm still think we're gonna trade him closer to the deadline. But and just because I think it's Kyle Kuzma who would rather go and find like a more as he mentioned a sizable contract. That's what he is looking for. So I still think we're gonna lose Kuzma. I don't think we're gonna keep him for the rest of the season.
How about you, Kenan?
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't think they're gonna trade Kuzma this offseason. He might
Mm.
get traded by the time of the trade deadline. But
Exactly. Yeah.
but ultimately, I think he stays until another playoff run, and I feel like he's gonna be a part. This isn't an expert opinion or whatever. This is just a prediction. He gets to be a part of a sign and trade deal in the next offseason when he hits restricted free agency. I feel like
Oh, interesting. So you think he would be worth a multi-year double-digit contract per year, like 4 years, 60 million?
I, I think a team would overpay him for that much. Maybe the Lakers don't match whatever offer he gets in restricted free agency.
Okay, so I think we will be keeping Kyle Kuzma until maybe the trade deadline or maybe beyond that, depending on his play. Because let's be honest, his trade value is at an all-time low. Uh, I don't know if he's tanking his trade stock by tweeting these weird tweets about I don't know Kyrie like um, shenanigans like putting LA in a bubble or whatever. He's giving out PS5s.
Yes.
Did you see that tweet?
Yeah.
Uh,
He's giving
so
away five PS5s.
PS5s. So I don't know with Kuz. Let's see what will happen.
Weird.
It's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks or surely. So let's move on to some of the topics that we discussed in the deleted pod part of the pod. Um, the free agents that we would like to sign. So considering that we already have traded for Dennis Schroeder, who is probably our um, backup or starting point guard, as a case, depending on the current makeup of our roster.
Mhm.
So, who are the, let's say, two or three realistic free agent targets that you would like to acquire this offseason? Let's start with you, Andrea. I
Was
know
this
you
part
love
deleted?
Garo. Yeah.
So did was it part deleted last from last episode? Then
Yeah.
this. Okay. Okay.
Only the season
So
review remained.
okay. So with this signing, oh yeah, with this trade for Dennis Schroeder, that is pretty much locked in already. I think now the urgent part is really the urgent signing that we need to get for the free agent from the free agency is Ibaka, Serge Ibaka, and maybe Tristan Thompson more than Gallinari now. I love Gallo. I really want him to sign, but because I think Schroeder ticks the perimeter shooting that we want, then I think now the management or actually the make of the lineup will now need more really number one defense and also the defense and big man. So and I think it's really time for Dwight Howard to Dwight Howard and Javale to
Yeah.
again thank you, but
Aim.
we're thank you next. Yeah.
So it's Serge Ibaka and
And Tristan
Danilo
Thompson.
Gallinari.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson, sorry.
Tristan Thompson, yeah.
Yeah, that would be quite the slash for the Lakers.
Mm.
So how about you, Kenan? Still want JC?
No, no, actually, I was about to say that. In the first episode, I mentioned JC as my pick for free agent signing because, like the aforementioned need for a gunner off the bench, obviously Schroeder fills in that role. So I'm scrapping that JC reunion idea. Yeah, but yeah, Ibaka or Tristan Thompson, I still want them, and preferably both. I'd like to have them both, and
How about
yeah, and Gallo, yeah, they probably won't. The MLE won't be enough for the three of them, but I have faith in Rob. He's gonna find a way, probably.
oh
What
if he
a
signs if he signs those three.
what a turnaround for our man Rob Lowe.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I actually saw a tweet earlier today that the trade, because the 28th pick was part of the trade, and that actually freed up 1 point something million of our
yeah, yeah.
total salary space scenarios.
I
So
think we're gunning for the full MLE, which will be worth around 9 million, I think.
yeah,
So,
somewhere around that.
pwedeng hatiin yun, di ba?
Mhm.
To two players.
Any players, I think, any players, as long as the total amount that they're receiving is the amount of the MLE.
Yeah, I think they will also structure AD's new deal in order to create cap flexibility for this season. So we'll see what happens. Gone are the days when Lakers Twitter was accusing that Rob Pelinka didn't know anything about the salary cap.
Yeah,
That was quite disgraceful to think that an NBA GM didn't know about the salary cap.
And
Shame on you people.
Kobe's former agent didn't know about salary
Yeah,
cap. That was just ridiculous.
he got Kobe 25 million as an old man, and he doesn't know the salary
Exa-
cap.
exactly.
uh, terrible. Um, so for me also, I would like to sign Ibaka and Tristan Thompson. There will be a huge upgrade over Dwight and JaVale, who were sometimes unplayable during the playoffs, as evidenced by Dwight getting benched versus the Rockets, and JaVale was essentially MIA the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
Was unplayable. So Ibaka, former NBA champion, and Thompson, former NBA champion.
yeah,
Uh, Ibaka is 7 foot, who can now shoot threes apparently. shot 38% last year. Um, Still can defend. It's not the OKC Ibaka who can block. I think he was a former defensive player of the year,
He was.
if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. But he is slowed down, but still a great defender. I think still a better defender than White, in my opinion,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
Dwight really gotten
Yes,
slow.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, as long
So
as he can, maintain the defensive rotations that the Lakers have, it doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be that defensive player of the year level that he used to be.
yes, because we have the defensive player of the year.
Real
Well,
defensive player of the
in
year.
our book, sorry, real quick freak. Anthony Davis is the best defensive player in the NBA. It's not even close. Um, Also, Tristan Thompson. I think he has improved. Last year, he averaged a double double, like 13 points and 10 rebounds, and he can fit. More importantly, he can finish in around the rim. Last year, he was a hunt. He didn't miss from inside 5 feet. Think about that. All the lobs, all the drop passes from LeBron, and now Dennis Schroeder.
Even AD,
Uh,
even passes from AD.
yeah, he's going to benefit from that. Um, so hopefully we can sign them. For Gallo, maybe this Danny Green departure also creates more playing time for wings or need for wings. So signing Gallo might be a great idea too because as we discussed, he looks like he's ring hunting. So he might be one of those veterans that signs for the minimum. Um, So to have a chance to be the second Italian player to win an NBA
Thanks to
title
Bellinelli. Thanks to Marco
and
Bellinelli.
probably the GOAT Italian is better than Prigioni and Bellinelli. Um, he's a great shooter. Shot 40% from three last year and 90% from the line. So
Which
those are two of the Lakers' Achilles heel last year. Uh, so those three, we signed them. We're like we will have a super deep team. Even the Clippers, I don't think can match up with our um, talent. So
chemistry.
so like Andrea said, I think it will be important to re-sign Jared Dudley for chemistry purposes. So that we won't lose that edge that blue guy in the locker room since probably 4 or 5 players will depart, right, from our team.
Yeah.
Rondo,
Rondo,
Dwight.
JaVale.
I saw a report that I think they said that Avery Bradley might is opting out. So
I see. Oh,
um,
I didn't see that. Okay.
yeah, it's just nothing official, but he said
Mm.
he's going to opt out. This Dennis Schroeder signing might also affect his decision. Um, Sino pa ba? Si
JaVale. JaVale is leaving.
Bill still hasn't
Yes.
said if he will opt in, right? Or has he decided yet?
No, he hasn't decided yet.
Hasn't decided yet. Okay. So I don't think we bring J.R. Smith back. Dion Waiters.
Dion
I don't
Waiters.
know.
I don't think we're. I don't think we're bringing them back.
I don't think we're bringing.
Plus, I think J.R. Smith is a substitute, right? He's a substitute for an injured player. If I'm not, that's how we signed him. That's
Yeah,
if I'm not
COVID.
mistaken.
Troy
The
Daniels. He replaced Troy Daniels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
um the Atentecompo who won the NBA title. Maybe we keep him for tampering purposes. Just kidding. Just kidding. So see what happens in Rob We Trust.
And
Who would
Rob
have
in
thought
Rob with trust.
we will utter those words considering what happened, how such a mess the Lakers front office was such a mess not long ago.
That
That's
was a
two
year
years.
ago. Just
Hard to
just just
imagine that.
over a year ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I really don't have
2019.
can keep track of time now. So, are we expecting any more trades?
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know actually. I really also don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
We don't have that much assets anyway.
yeah.
Mm.
Aside from Kuzma, so
Because this Schroeder trade, I didn't hear about it until Watch tweeted about it, of course. So
yeah,
it
that's
wasn't floated at all from in the news. So that's why I think the DeRozan news really was just was not really realistic at all.
yeah. So, um, we this trade shuts down any of that DeRozan trade. We all agree here that's pretty ridiculous and it's a bad fit. Um,
Mhm.
So please
maybe
stop discussing that, Twitter.
yes, stop it, Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah.
Um, Derrick Rose, this signing probably rules out that trade. Uh, what else? What were the other rumors?
CP3. There was this
Yes,
CP3 talks.
it would because it would be really stupid for OKC to trade uh, CP3 then just receive then Schroeder in return again. So
Mm,
um,
so the CP3
you see that
got.
tweet from I forgot the name of the saying that Sam Presti was playing
Yeah,
3D chess,
I read that.
trading Schroeder for basically nothing, so that the Lakers will win the title again, and the Clippers will just dismantle their team, and it will improve the all the
The
picks that the Clippers owe them.
Uh,
um, so probably knowing Sam Presti with the shrewd moves he has done, he probably did that. 'Cause here, I think some other team would have offered a better package than Danny Green and then
mhm.
his 28th pick, right?
yeah.
So let's see what will happen. Uh, so we forgot to talk about KCP. Do you think this signing will affect whether or not he will stay
I
with
think
the
he will
Lakers?
stay. I think he will stay even with the signings. And I think he needs to stay because of the we need his defense more than ever now because Danny Green is gone and he's I think Schroeder. I'm not exactly sure what the height of Schroeder is, but he's not as big as Danny Green. So we would need
He's
for
6'1".
someone to 6'1", yeah. So for us to do, yeah, basically. So we need KCP to defend some of the bigger wing or some of the bigger guards and bigger wings during regular and playoff season. So I think he will stay.
Mhm. Yes, I agree. We need KCP more than ever now.
Yeah.
I do hope he stays, but
So there are conflicting reports regarding KCP if the Lakers have his bird rights, but I think we have,
yeah,
right?
it's been three
He has
years.
played 3 years with the Lakers.
He's
So we can go over the cap to resign him, but I think we need to sign. I don't know how it works, but I think we need to sign other players first before we can resign him to a higher deal, right?
yeah, we consume the entire cap space, and then we can
Yeah.
resign KCP and AD and whoever players we have that has bird rights.
So I think I think Danny Green leaving and his clutch, so the chances of I think the chances of him staying is right around 75%, right?
Mm.
Hmm.
Because I don't think any team would offer him any substantial pay raise. No one's paying 18 million for him, unless he wants to go back to Detroit or something. So we also we have some questions now from our Instagram and Twitter and
Oh,
Facebook page. Um, so let's start with AAJB Kano. So I hope I pronounced or read your Instagram handle correctly. Um, chances will resign Boogie. do we consider trading away JaVale McGee? Let's start with you, Andrea.
Consider trading JaVale. Yes, I trading or is he? Sorry, is he's a free agent, right?
Nah, he has to opt in before we can trade him.
Okay, okay. So I think
So
we'll.
I think the second question's a moot point because we still don't know if he will opt in or
What's the
and
first question?
if he does opt in, there's no let's face it, Javel has no value
Yeah.
in the NBA. So the first question was chances that we will resign Boogie Cousins.
So I think this was deleted during our
Yeah,
from our
Yeah,
first
yeah.
ever
From
episode
our first
yesterday. So
ever episode, this was deleted.
yeah. So we're trying to piece it back together. No, I
Yeah.
think we're not signing. No chance of resigning Boogie, especially if we will be able to get Ibaka and if we will be able to get Tristan Thompson. Boogie is not the same guy, although it's good to have him on the bench. But I just don't think the management. I just don't think Lakers will sign him.
Kenan?
yeah. I'd want to say yes. I expect them to sign him back, but then I remember that injury report you mentioned yesterday. He's still injured, so yeah, I highly doubt he gets re-signed. So nope. My answer is no.
Okay. I also think we shouldn't sign Boogie. There's a new report that he's not even ready to play to start the season. So
He's
that's
washed, probably.
a red flag. Feel bad for him. Yeah, two Achilles or two ACL injuries. Just terrible luck with injuries. Before we go on to the next question, there's a Woj bomb. Um,
I
the
just saw.
Detroit Pistons are trading Bruce Brown to the Brooklyn Nets for Janan Musa in a 2021 second round pick.
I see.
I thought I thought it was going to be the Harden trade. Harden to the Brooklyn Nets,
Surprise trade.
which is bonkers. Okay, so let's move on to the next question from Carl or at CRLNRCN on Twitter. Would you put Schroeder in the starting five or be the first guy off the bench, just like in OKC? So Andrea,
I
Schroeder
think he would be a.
starter off the bench.
I think he'd be a six man. So I think he would be a six man, and I think Alex Caruso would start. And yeah, six man.
Alex Russo.
He thrives and being a six man. If he was second in the six man of the year last year. So yeah, why not? Plus we need his firepower and we need really a playmaker in our second team. So yep.
How about you, Kenan?
Yeah,
Same answer.
yeah, I agree with that. That was my main point earlier that he provides scoring off the bench. So yeah,
Yep.
six man.
Yeah. Also, I agree that he will be part of the or leading the second unit. Alex Caruso, I think, has more than earned the job to
Yes.
be our
Yes.
full-time starter, as evidenced by
Game six.
spectacular Game Six performance
Enough
both
said.
on both ends. Uh, I think he will be our starting guard for the next foreseeable future. Um, More than the goat jokes, he's really a really good role player on the title team.
Just a
He's
mid.
something that can play, someone who can play in a close game, the last 3 minutes of a close playoff game. He's someone that LeBron and AD and the rest of the team really trust to make the right decision. So uh, he would fit in the starting lineup. So also, I think it's a great advantage for Schroeder to be playing against the second unit of the other teams because he can be dominant scorer against the second unit of the other teams. So I think it would be a great idea to for him to start off the bench. Also, as we mentioned, he was second in six man of the year voting. So being a Laker, probably he'll be the first Laker since Lamar Odom to win the six man of the year award. So
Yeah.
Let's see what will happen.
Yeah, and I guess that takes the pressure off of him to defend the other team's starting point guard, which includes
Uh,
guys like CP3 and Westbrook, and he's not exactly the most well equipped to do that. So I guess
yeah,
yeah, so I guess this is a good for him to come off the bench.
And I think if we remember, for whenever LeBron sits down, right, there's really no one creating driving, and I think Schroeder is really a driver. He looks for his shots inside as well, and then he pops. So I think this will be good for our second lineup,
Yep.
for a bench play.
yeah. So basically, Shoulder would be taking the place of Rajon Rondo.
Yes.
So I came up more on Schroeder. Was surprised that he was in the playoffs for most of his career, which was very surprising to me. From 2000, this from 2013 to 2020,
Never missed the
he was in the
playoffs.
playoffs. And in one series, he averaged 24.7 points and 7.7 assists on 45, 42, 83% free throws shooting. So he's a big. He likes the big stage. His playoff. Yes, 30. How many? 46 career playoff games. So
46.
46
46 career playoff games. So
for Atlanta Hawks. He had four. Okay.
I think he has more playoff games than Anthony Davis. So uh, anyone worried about him being playoff ready, he will be. Um,
That's a
so
pleasant
next,
surprise.
uh, sorry,
That was a pleasant
go yeah.
surprise.
Another last question. Well, Robert Iscurley said, it's actually not a question but a suggestion. We should get Jeremy Grant. Uh, I'll start with this. Sorry, Robert, if that's your name. We are not getting Jeremy Grant. Getting paid. Probably one of the highest paid free agents this off season. The Nuggets traded a first round pick for him, so there's no way I think they will let him go. He's going to be paid and out of our budget, so we can't get him. So same thoughts, Andrea and Kenneth.
Yeah.
Yes, I. If we're getting Jeremy Grant, I would put in Jamal Murray as well. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not getting them. I don't think we're getting any. No, same thoughts.
Okay, so thanks again for joining our emergency Lakers Nation PH podcast. Uh, we might be recording again on Sunday, considering this off season is just like a month or 2 months. A month, yeah, basically a month, because the NBA starts on December 22. Training camp opens in December, first week of December, right?
Yeah. Somewhere
Yes.
like that.
So this next weeks or even days, just days, the Lakers roster might be filled up by Wednesday. So
You
I think
by
after the draft.
Sunday,
I think
by
after the
Sunday.
draft.
you can be sure.
Yeah, after
You can be sure deals are already being made right now, just in secret.
being made, already made.
Yeah. Just waiting for the official
So
announcement.
surely there will be more blockbusters signings trades coming up, since this is going to be a crazy off season. So I think we'll see you again on Sunday. For the what would be our third episode of the Lakers Nation PH podcast. So Andrea, Kellen, thank you again for joining the pod. See you on Sunday.
See you. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh yes. Before we forget, this is to remind you guys that your Los Angeles Lakers are the 2019-2020 NBA champions. So, and the 17-time NBA champions, no matter what. Bill Simmons says. So just throwing out every episode. So thank you again for tuning in and stay safe. Bye.
Stay safe. Bye.
Bye bye. Hi. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please consider following us on our social media as well. We are at LakersNation_PH on both Twitter and Instagram, and Lakers Nation Philippines on Facebook. Thank you.